Yuck.
No, Christian's frozen.
No!
No!
No, it was just getting to the hype part.
Race paused.
Am
He's
I
back.
still frozen?
No, you're back.
You're back.
Is it all good?
You're back.
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
So it cut out right at that's gotta hurt.
Okay, Anakin works his way through a dense mass of races as they zoom over the dune sea, kicking up dust. As he goes over the Tuscan Raiders continue to shoot. ODY is ODY is hit by a blasting bolt, and the whole thing is supposed Mas Espa Arena viewing platform take. Qui-Gon, Shmi, and Padme and Jar Jar continue to look at Anakin.
Here he comes. Yahoo!
At the start of the third and final lap, Sebulba is in the lead, followed closely by Skywalker.
Anakin finally catches up with Sebulba and runs neck and neck over the rough terrain. Jar Jar, Qui-Gon, Shmi, and Padme also as Anakin comes to the arena. Exterior Mas Espa race away. Sebulba uses his side exhaust port to try and cut through Anakin engines. Anakin manages to avoid having his engine disabled, but is forced off course.
Skywalker's been forced onto the service ramp.
On a tight corner, Anakin dives into the inside and takes his lead.
It's Skywalker! Amazing! A quick control thrust and he's back on course.
Did he crash?
He stays right on Anakin's tail, crowding him and pushing him through the turns. Anakin harder. The young boy's difficult hard to keep control. Two Jawa are watching them. In the distance, before one of the parts of Anakin's engines begins to shake loose.
Skywalker's in trouble. Sebulba takes the lead.
Anakin sees the problem and switches over to auxiliary system. Boys, Tom Crush's maneuver. Sebulba races past him. Anakin tries to move around Sebulba to no avail. Every move Anakin makes, Sebulba is able to block. Finally, Anakin fakes a move into the inside as he usually does, then tries to go around Sebulba on the outside. They race side by side down the final stretch of the track.
He's catching Sebulba.
Inka boonga.
Careful, Annie. Careful, Annie.
Sebulba veers towards Anakin and bangs into his iPod. He crashes into Anakin over and over. The young boy struggles. And Anakin controls the two pods become hooked together. Sebulba laughs at Anakin.
That little human being is out of his mind.
Boonda da boonda.
They're side by side.
Bongo de bongo.
As they head for the final stretch, Anakin fights to unlock the steering rods, trying to pull away from Sebulba. The strain on the steering is tremendous. This release of the tension sends Sebulba into a spin as he crashes. Engine explodes! And the other skids and slides to his stuff, and he slams. Am I too loud? Okay. He slams his fist against the pod in disgust.
Wait, did Christian just crash his computer by hitting it? He hit his computer and it froze.
He's just gone. All right.
Oh, he's back. He's back. He's back.
Right back.
Yep.
That's so weird. Okay.
Joey gave his delivery of Poodoo.
And he flies by as the crowd stands cheering. Qui-Gon, Padme smile. Jar Jar. Jar Jar gets excited. Walden and Kisser jump up and yes, butter. Or two hysterically.
I can't believe it.
Anakin races over the finish line. The winner! Whoa. Interior Mas Espa Arena announcers box day. The Twitter announcer excitedly calls the finish.
The crowds are going nuts. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ah.
Exterior Mas Espa Arena day as Anakin stops the pod racer. Kidster turns up and they embrace. Oh, beautiful. Hundreds of spectators join them. Put Anakin on their shoulders, marching off, cheering and chanting. My God, Steve, Padme. And Jar Jar rush over to him.
Mother, I did it! Yeah!
Rock on, Mom! Interior Mas Espa Arena private box day. Several aliens leave Watto's box laughing and counting their money. Watto's Interior Mas Espa Arena royal box day. Jabba sits asleep in his box. His toy Major Domo taps him on the shoulder, letting him know the race is over. Exterior Mas Espa Arena hangar day. The main hangar is almost deserted as racers depart. Interior Mas Espa Arena main hangar day. Jar Jar picks up Anakin, giving him a great hug.
Great job, Andy.
Okay. Then Shmi gives him a makeout session.
No, you missed Padme.
Oh, sorry, I saw a great job, Annie. Then Padme gives him a blowjob.
We owe you everything.
Then Shmi gives him a kiss.
So wonderful, Annie! You brought hope to all those you have none. I'm so very proud of you, you little shit.
Ah,
No, that's supposed to go after the Padme bar.
Interior Mos Espa Arena private box day. Watto sees Qui-Gon standing in the doorway.
You swindled me. You knew the boy was going to win. Somehow you knew. I lost everything.
Watto flies up to Qui-Gon and puts his face right up against Qui-Gon's. Qui-Gon simply smiles.
Whenever you gamble, my friend, eventually you'll lose. Bring the parts to the main hangar, and I'll come by your shop later so you can release the boy.
You can't have him. It wasn't a fair bet.
Would you like to discuss it with the Hutts? I'm sure they can settle this.
Take him.
Qui-Gon nods and starts to leave. Exterior Tatooine Desert, Naboo spacecraft day. R2 cruises ahead of Qui-Gon and Padme, who are riding one of the Eopies. Jar Jar rides the other. They stop in front of the sleek Naboo spacecraft. Obi-Wan comes out of the ship and joins them.
Well, we have all the essential parts we need. I'm going back. Some unfinished business. I won't be long.
Why do I sense we've picked up another pathetic life form?
It's shit.
Damn.
It's the boy who's responsible for getting those parts. Get this hyperdrive generator installed.
Yes, Master. It won't take long.
Qui-Gon turns and rides back to town on the Eopie. Exterior Tatooine Street Slave Quarters day. Farther down the street, Qui-Gon and Anakin head toward Anakin's hovel. Qui-Gon takes a handful of credits from beneath his poncho and hands them to the boy.
Hi!
yes.
Interior Anakin's hovel. Main room day. Thing is
Go!
through the door, followed by Qui-Gon.
Mom, he sold the pod. Look at all the money we have.
Anakin pulls a bag of coins out of his pocket.
Oh my goodness, that's wonderful, Annie!
And Anakin has been freed.
What?
You're no longer a slave.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, you can make your dreams come true, Annie. You're free. I turned to Qui-Gon Jinn. What, with you? Is he to become a Jedi? Yes, our meeting was not a coincidence. Nothing happens by accident.
You mean I get to come with you on your starship?
Qui-Gon kneels down to the boy.
Anakin, training to become a Jedi is not be an easy challenge. And if you succeed, it's a hard life.
But I want to go. It's what I've always dreamed of doing. Can I go, Mom?
You wee little cunt. This is the path and place for you. Choices you alone.
Anakin thinks a bit as he looks to his mother.
He's like, did she just call me a cunt?
I want to do it.
We lost Greg.
Sorry, my Discord occasionally just decides it doesn't want to be connected.
You're like Landon.
True.
Hey now, don't do that to Greg.
Well,
Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry.
if I switch to I won't have video, but I'll at least be able to. I think it'll be more consistent.
Yonkai.
Give me a sec.
There he goes again.
Oh, my baby.
He's back.
Well,
I am back. Shalom.
hi.
Okay. Then pack your things. We haven't much time.
Anakin hugs his mom and starts for the other room, then stops. Anakin has realized something.
What about Mom? Is she free too?
I tried to free your mother, Annie, but Wada wouldn't have it.
What the? Desert life has changed massively.
Ah, shit, man, I tried.
You're coming, aren't you, Mom?
Son, my plate is here. Your future is here. Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Future? I'm a daft cunt, I'm sorry. My future is here. It is time for you to let go. Maybe?
I don't want things to change.
Can't stop change. You can't stop change any more than you can stop the suns from setting now. Hurry.
Anakin is sweet. Now he's a little Scottish. Anakin runs into the other room.
Thank you, you wee little bitch.
I'll watch after him. You have my word. Will you be all right?
Interior Anakin's hovel bedroom day. Anakin hurries to throw the last of his things into his backpack. He walks over to the button on the droid to wake him up. He stares at him blankly.
Oh my. Hello, Master Anakin.
Well, 3PO, I'm free. I'm going away in a starship.
Master Annie, you are my maker, and I wish you well. However, I should prefer it if I were a little more completed.
I'm sorry I wasn't able to finish you, 3PO. Give you coverings and all. I'm gonna miss working on you. You've been a great pal. I'll make sure Mom doesn't sell you or anything.
3PO stares at Anakin as he rushes out of the room.
Sell me?
Bye.
Exterior Mos Espa Street slave quarters day. Qui-Gon and Anakin exit the hovel. Shmi stands in the doorway. Qui-Gon and Anakin start to walk down the street. Then Anakin stops to look back at his mother standing in the doorway. He turns back to Qui-Gon, then turns and runs back to his mother. Shmi hugs Anakin. Qui-Gon watches from the distance. She kneels down and looks him in the face.
I can't do it, Mom. I just can't do it.
Give me a sec. Annie,
Will I ever see you again?
what does your wee little heart tell you, son?
I hope so. Yes, I guess.
Then we'll see each other again, you daft cunt.
I will come back and free you, Mom. It might be a little violent. I promise.
Now be brave and don't look back.
I said don't look back, you little cunt!
Shmi hugs Anakin and turns him around so he is facing Qui-Gon. And off he marches like the brave little trooper that he is. Yo, whoever did this transliteration, that was a little...
Oh, we lost him again.
Back.
He's back.
Oh. Hey, okay. Am I still here? Did I go away?
Yeah, you're here.
Yeah. Brave little trooper.
Like the brave little trooper that he is, he marches right past Qui-Gon, staring right ahead. Determined not to look back. Exterior Tatooine Desert Mesa Day. The pro droid beeps and whistles to Darth Maul. A speeder bike and follows the probe droid into Mos Espa. Exterior Tatooine Desert Naboo spacecraft day. Qui-Gon and Anakin run toward the Naboo spacecraft. Anakin is having a hard time keeping up.
Oh, sorry. I was messing with my mic.
Qui-Gon, sir, wait, I'm tired.
Qui-Gon turns to answer and sees a dark cloaked figure bearing down on a speeder bike.
Anakin, drop!
That was good.
Anakin drops to the ground just as Darth Maul sweeps over him.
Oh, we lost him again.
He froze for a bit.
I'm thinking of changing Anakin to Donald Trump. Qui-Gon, wait, please, I'm tired.
I'm tired. But not as tired as, say, like, someone else who's, like, more
What if
tired.
Annie, tell them to take off.
Oh,
What if I just went full Kermit the Frog with
Kermit
Qui-Gon?
the Frog.
I can do it.
Qui-Gon, say,
You're back, Christian.
Anakin, drop.
Anakin, jump.
Okay. Before he has hit the ground, the Sith Lord has swung a death blow with his laser sword that is barely blocked by Qui-Gon. Anakin picks himself up. The two galactic warriors, Sith and Jedi, are bashing each other with incredible blows. They move in a continual cloud of dust, smashing everything around them. This is a fierce fight. Anakin gets up, bewildered by the confrontation.
Annie, tell them to take off.
Qui-Gon struggles to fend off the relentless onslaught as Anakin races to the ship. Interior Naboo spacecraft cockpit. Captain Panaka, Anakin, and Padme rush into the cockpit where Obi-Wan and Rick O'Lee are checking the hyperdrive.
Qui-Gon's in trouble.
I missed
Take
Captain
off.
Panaka.
Over there. Fly low.
Into the distance. In the distance is a small cloud of dust. Exterior Tatooine Desert Naboo spacecraft day. Qui-Gon and Darth Maul continue their sword battle, leaping over one another in an incredible display of acrobatics. The two warriors hear the ship fly over them and a few feet off the ground, and Qui-Gon almost disappears for a moment. Before Darth Maul knows what's happening, Qui-Gon is on the spacecraft ramp. Exterior Tatooine Naboo spacecraft ramp day. The ramp closes and Naboo craft rockets away, leaving the Sith Lord standing alone, like this. Exterior space Naboo spacecraft effects. The sleek spacecraft rockets away from the planet Tatooine. Interior Naboo spacecraft hallway. The Anakin and Obi-Wan rush into the hallway and find Qui-Gon collapsed on the floor opposite the entry. R2 is looking over him. The Jedi is breathing hard, wet, soaked with sweat and covered in dirt. Anakin and Obi-Wan in dirt. I swear it. Anakin and Obi-Wan come through the door.
are you alright?
I think so.
What was it?
I'm not sure, but he was
What
well
the heck?
trained.
What happened? What happened to these characters? Donald Trump and freaking Kermit the Frog.
You're well trained in the Jedi Order. My guess is he was after the Queen.
What are we gonna do about it? You know, I have a lot of friends. We can use them.
Oh gosh, Obi-Wan gives Anakin a "Who are you?" look. Anakin, you don't do that. Anakin returns with Anakin's stare.
We will be patient. Anakin Skywalker, meet Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Hi, you're a Jedi too. Pleased to meet you.
Oh gosh, this has totally changed everything. Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon look at each other. Exterior space, Naboo spacecraft effect. The ship flies away from Tatooine. Exterior Theed, night. The palace can be seen in the distance. Interior Naboo palace, throne room, Theed, night. Newt sits in a strange mechanical rocking chair, which moves beside C.O. Bibble. A group of armed guard droids march behind them.
Your queen is lost. Your people are starving, and you, Governor, are going to die much sooner than your people, I'm afraid.
This invasion will gain you nothing. We're democracy. The people have decided.
Take him away.
Bibble is taken away as Menace approaches Newt.
Our position to begin searching the swamps for those rumored underwater villages. They will not stay hidden for long.
Interior Naboo spacecraft main area. The ship is asleep. The lights are dim as Padme walks into the main room. She goes to a monitor and watches the Bibble.
Go ass to bed, Alexa said.
Thank you. Okay. Bibble plea recording. She watches the Bibble plea recording. Jar Jar is stretched out in a chair, snoring. R2 is to one side, cooing as he rests. Padme appears tired. She senses someone watching her and turns around with a start. She sees Anakin sitting in the corner, jerking off, shivering and looking very good.
What are you doing? Are you all right?
It's very cold.
So I'm just He goes over to him. He looks up at her with tears in his eyes. He's like,
Fucking sad jerk in it.
he's all like, I just miss my mom.
I miss my mom.
He's holding his arms to keep himself warm. Padme gives him her overjacket.
He finishes.
You come from a warm planet, Annie. A little too warm for my taste. Space is cold.
You seem sad.
The Queen is worried. Her people are suffering, dying. She must convince the Senate to intervene. I'm not sure what will happen.
I pull something from my pocket.
Whoa, there, bud. Whoa.
I made
One
this
of
for you, so you'd remember me. I carved it of Japor snippet. It will bring you good fortune.
Anakin hands a wooden pendant to Padme. She inspects it and then puts it around her neck.
It's beautiful, but I don't need this to remember you by. Many things will change
I
when you
literally
reach
just watched you
Many things will change when you reach the capital, Annie. My caring for you will remain.
They care for you too. Only I.
Anakin is disturbed by something. Tears are in his eyes. His hands are sticky.
Miss your mother.
Anakin looks at her, unable to speak. Exterior space. Planet Coruscant. Move with the ship. This is my favorite planet in all Star Wars. Move with the ship as it heads towards Coruscant. Interior Coruscant. Cityscape. Naboo spacecraft. The spacecraft flies over the endless cityscape of Coruscant, the capital of the galaxy. Interior Naboo spacecraft. Cockpit. Anakin looks out the cockpit window in awe.
Poggers.
Coruscant! Coruscant! The entire planet's one big city. There's Chancellor Valorum's shuttle, and look over there, Senator Palpatine's waiting for us.
Interior Naboo spacecraft day. The ship flies through the cityscape of Coruscant. Exterior Coruscant. Landing. Platform day. Supreme Chancellor Valorum, several guards, and Senator Palpatine stand on the landing platform. The sleek Naboo spacecraft lands on the platform high above the street level of the galactic capital. The ramp lowers. Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Jar Jar, and Anakin descend from the ramp first and bow before Palpatine and Valorum. Captain Panaka, the two guards, Queen Amidala, and Padme, Rabe, Irte, and more guards descend the ramp. Queen Amidala stops before the group. Anakin and Jar Jar stand to the group. Anakin and Jar. Oh, it's so small. The words are so small. Stand to one side, looking at the huge city. Padme smiles at Anakin. Palpatine bows before the Queen. It's a great gift to see you alive, Your Majesty. With the communications breakdown, we've become very concerned. I'm anxious to hear a report on the situation. May I present Supreme Chancellor Valorum? My cut.
Welcome, Your Highness. It's an honor to finally meet you in person. I don't know what voice to do for him. Welcome, Your Highness. It's an honor to finally meet you in person.
Thank you, Supreme Chancellor.
I must relay to you how distressed everyone is over the current situation. I've called for a special session of the Senate to hear your position.
I like that voice.
I am grateful for your concern, Chancellor.
Jar Jar and Anakin follow the Queen, Palpatine, Padme, Rabe, and Irte to the taxi. The Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan stop to speak with Valorum as they watch the group head toward the taxi.
I must speak with the Jedi Council immediately.
Wait, we missed Palpatine line there.
We did.
We missed.
Oh, sorry. Amidala and retinue off the platform toward head air taxi. There is a question of procedure, but I feel confident we can overcome it. Jar Jar and Anakin follow the Queen, Palpatine, Padme, Rabe, Irte to the taxi. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan stop to speak with Valorum as they watch the group head towards the taxi.
Hang on.
Line.
You must speak with the Jedi Council immediately. The situation has become more complicated.
Interior Palpatine's quarters, enter room 3. Queen Amidala is sitting listening to Palpatine, Irte, and Rabe stand behind the Queen. Padme is nowhere to be seen. Because she's the queen. Anakin and Jar Jar are waiting in the adjoining room. They can see the queen, but cannot hear what's being said. Captain Panaka enters, then goes into the room with Queen Amidala. Interior Palpatine's quarters, living area day. Palpatine is pacing as Captain Panaka enters. Irte and Rabe stand to one side. The Republic is not what it was. The Senate is full of greedy, squabbling delegates. There is no interest in common good. I must be frank, Your Majesty, there is little chance the Senate will act on the invasion.
Chancellor Valorm seems to think there is hope.
If I may say so, Your Majesty, the Chancellor has little real power. He is mired by baseless accusations of corruption. The bureaucrats are in charge now.
What options have we?
Our best choice would be to push for election of a stronger Supreme Chancellor, one who will take control of the bureaucrats and give us justice. You could call for a vote of no confidence in Chancellor Valorum.
Has he not been our strongest supporter?
Our only other choice would be to submit to a plea to the courts.
The courts take even longer to decide things in the Senate. Our people are dying, Senator. We must do something quickly to stop the Federation.
To be realistic, Your Majesty, I think we're going to have to accept Federation control for the time being.
That is something I cannot do.
Exterior Temple of the Jedi Day. A unique building with tall spires stands out against the Coruscant skyline. A small transport passes by the vast temple. Interior Temple of the Jedi Council Chambers Day. Qui-Gon stands in a tall, stately... Is that what that says?
Yeah,
It's so
stately.
small.
Yeah.
Stately room. 12 Jedi sit in a semicircle. Obi-Wan stands behind Qui-Gon in the center of the room. The senior Jedi is Mace Windu. To his left is an alien Jedi named Ki-Adi-Mundi. And to his right, the Jedi Master Yoda.
He was trained in the Jedi arts. My only conclusion can be that it was a Sith Lord.
Impossible. The Sith have been extinct for a millennium.
Oh, is it me?
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot believe the motherfucking Sith have returned without us knowing.
That's so good.
Hard to see the dark side is.
We will use all of our motherfucking resources. I just want to Gabe Blackman there for a second.
Just go. You're doing it. Go.
Keep going, keep going.
But we will use all of our motherfucking resources here to unravel this mystery and discover the motherfucking identity of your attacker. May the Force motherfucking be with you.
That's freaking Samuel L. Jackson, man. Obi-Wan turns and leaves, but Qui-Gon continues to face the council.
Qui-Gon, more to say, have you?
I hope, with your permission, my master, I have encountered a emergence in the Force.
Emergency, you say?
Virgins, you say?
Motherfucking person?
Boy! His cells have the highest concentration of midichlorians I have ever seen in my life form. It is possible he was conceived by the midichlorian.
You're referring to the motherfucking prophecy of the one who brings motherfucking balance? You believe it's this motherfucking boy? Say it again, I dare you.
And don't presume.
What you do? Reveal your opinion is.
I request the boy be tested, master.
The Jedi all look to one another. They nod and turn back to Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon.
As a Jedi, you request for him?
Finding him was the will of the Force. I have no doubt of that.
Miss Piggy and Kermit and both freaking.
Bring him before us then.
Motherfucker.
And you know what's so good about that? That Frank Oz plays both Miss Piggy and Yoda, so that's perfect. Interior Queen's Quarters, Coruscant Day. Anakin, tentative, walks down one of the long hallways in Senator Palpatine's quarters. He stops before a door that is flanked by a guard. A guard speaks into his comlink as Anakin looks around a bit nervously.
The boy is here to see Padme.
Freaking Kylo Ren.
Let's him in.
The doors open and Anakin enters the Queen's quarters. Rabe greets Anakin as two other handmaidens come and go into the next room.
I'm sorry, Annie, but Padme is not here right now.
The Queen speaks out into the next room.
Who is it?
Anakin Skywalker. See Padme, Your Highness.